and welcome to episode 22 of Being Ewethful, the vlog. I am Kim Beegler. I am the owner of Ewethful Fiber Farm and Mill, and I'm back at the mill because it is apparently officially fall here in Oregon. So, I have more layers on. I had to turn the heat on in the building. It's getting real here. And we're getting rain off and on, so that is lovely. You can find me all over the place. I have all the links to find me down in the show notes below, so please do so. Find me. And if you are loving what I'm doing, or even just liking a little bit, please don't forget to subscribe below. It helps YouTube know that people are liking what I'm doing. So, and as always, like, comment, do all the other things, but subscribing does, it also gives you alerts as to when I put a new vlog out. So, yeah, here we are, fall for reals. And I have actually been able to pull out some woolen items. I'm not wearing anything. This is not stuff I've made at all. I don't tend to wear that stuff as much here, other than when I'm trying to plan on doing this. But sorry, and I've got the cat on my lap because she's very excited that I am here sitting. So, before I forget, a mill shop day is coming up because we did not get to have Oregon Flock and Fiber this month, nor the other fiber fusion that I was going to be at in Washington. So in lieu of that, the shop will be open October 23rd from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. So if you're in the area and you want to come and shop, or just sit and make, we'll have a group. Masks will be required. And obviously, if you're feeling sick, please don't come. But I would love to see people. Otherwise, it's always so fun to sit and talk and catch up and to make. So that's happening. And I'm also going to put out a newsletter that has some of the other things that are happening around the area on that same weekend, so that if you were planning to come to off, maybe you'll still come down. I'm only, the mill shop is only about a half hour south of where the festival was going to be. So if you haven't signed up for a newsletter, please do. I'm trying to get more active about, that's where I put events and new products and maybe some discounts here and there. So you can go sign up on our website at the homepage. So what else? Oh, and I wrote on my blog. I've been trying to write a little bit more there. My cat's getting caught on me. So beingewethful.com, it's down in the show notes, a link to it. And I actually forgot something, so I'm gonna have to pause. But this last blog post I wrote was about my 5 top tips for buying a good raw wool fleece. So if you were thinking about buying one, if you bought one before but don't feel super confident, I put kind of some of my top tips because I was just on a huge wool buy since the last time I saw you guys. I went to Eastern Oregon. I spent the night because I ended up going to 4 farms total. I went to 3 farms the first day, drove across the mountain, hit 3 farms in 3 different towns, and then stayed in Sisters, Oregon, which is one of my happy places in the world, and then went to an alpaca farm, which was a new grower to me, and that was super fun. And it was a really awesome 2 days. I was by myself because Mitch is still working hard to get seed in the ground and do all that stuff. So I went by myself. I had such a fun time. It was so fun to connect, to go to some of the farms I haven't been to before, to meet new people, and just to buy some. I loaded up my mother-in-law's minivan, loaded with wool. So it was so exciting and inspiring. So anyway, it got me to thinking, what tips can I give, or what do I look for when I'm going to buy wool? And so I wrote a little blog post. So beingewethful.com, you can find the link to it. And if you're in our newsletter, it also usually has the links to everything. So I did want to show you one thing real quick. So I'm going to pause you for a minute and I'll be right back and you'll have no idea. Okay, see, so you didn't even know I was gone. Okay, one of the top tips that I give you is it's called the snap test, the ping test, whatever. I write about it more in the blog, but I thought I would show you because, just to show you kind of what I'm talking about. I don't think you'll be able to hear the ping because I want to show you, but basically what it is that if you're trying to find out if a fleece is nice and strong, what you do is you just hold each end of the locks, and then you're doing a quick. And usually when you're doing that, you would have it up by your ear and you would just do I'll see if I can, I don't know if you'll be able to hear that. But, and it's not going to do it. The one thing is really you should do it once, and that's probably it. But the idea is that you get this ping sound if it's nice and strong. If it's not nice and strong, you might almost hear like a crackly sound, and that means there's probably some damage that it may or may not be worth processing. You know, it's up to you. Sometimes there's a break in the wool, and depending on where the break is, you may still be able to process it out well. But it's kind of one of the tests that you can run when you're looking at wool. You just pull a lock out, put your fingers on the end, hold it up, see if you can get the ping. I'll listen to this and cut the ping out if it wasn't a good ping. But generally you just do it you do one good ping because you're stretching the wool out. And so if you don't get it on that first one, go back in, grab another one and just do a quick one again and see if you can get it better. Or if you have fleeces at home, go try it out. So, snap test. That was one of the tips. So there you go. I think we're gonna move on to the farm tour. And we do have a grass seed harvest update, so that's exciting because we're getting close to the end, and I actually wasn't so tired. Timed out well. Mitch is tired, so I've been taking him a lot of coffee and tea during the day, and then I managed to get some good shots. So, but first we're gonna go to the farm tour update to go check in on our animals and say hi to everybody. And there has been if you watched on social media at all, you may have seen that I was missing a chicken, and the chicken has been found. And so I'm gonna insert that at the very end so that you can see her and see the shenanigans. Because there's just, right when I think things have settled down, something else exciting happens. I guess that's the way when you have so many animals. But other than that, everything has been good on the farm. We'll talk about, you'll get to see that one chicken. One big amazing thing that happened was that June, our rescue horse, so for those of you just joining us, we rescued this Shetland pony along with her friend, a mini horse who we lost last year. We rescued them about 2 years ago, and they had a rough time of it. So horses' feet need to be trimmed up. Their hooves need to be trimmed up every and somewhere in the 6 to 8 week range. Generally, you have the farrier come out and do trimming. They had not had theirs done for 5+ years, most likely. And even before that, it sounds like the feet were not kept up with for the last few years. And there's a whole story behind it. But the point is, we got her, she's doing better. And this past week was the first time that we both were able to be confident and trusting in each other that I could pick her back feet. She's let me pick her front feet for a long time now, but the back feet was a mixture of her not being confident enough and me not being confident enough in how to handle, because it's just a different technique to get that back foot into a position that they are comfortable with and that you're comfortable with. And I'm not the biggest horse person. So anyway, it was a huge milestone for both of us. And she was basically at the point where she was like, oh my God, just hold the foot. So that was pretty awesome. And I was super proud of both of us win. That is a big win. Okay, without further ado, on to the farm tour, and I'll see you on the other side. First part of the farm tour. It starts with these hens that come up top in the afternoon because they can't wait for me to toss them below, and I'm late today, so then all the hens are here. When I say all the hens, that's not all the hens. So we'll go onward down below, and some of these chickens will reappear down below flying like maniacs. All right, it is a beautiful fall day out, and here's one. She's just gonna follow me down, and they'll start coming out of the woodworks, and the ones up top will find their way down too, and we should pretty quick see, I see them to the left is the babies. These are the babiest babies to the left on the other side of the fence here. And they're not such small babies anymore, but they're pretty small in comparison. And their mama is back there in the back. She knows the drill. And here come a lot of chickens that are coming down the hill. God forbid. They miss more of these treats. So this is my compromise with them. I didn't used to give them this, but now when I come down to pull their eggs. It's my token of appreciation to them that they get this. So I'm gonna start. Look at that beauty. Hi, babies. Okay. So there's lots of chickens. The babies figured this out pretty quick. It's so odd to be excited by white chickens, but we haven't had white chickens on the farm. So here comes some more. And this one right here, that's one of the trio chicks. So she's getting pretty big, and I don't see her friends out here, but we'll go and let June out. And usually 3 of them are together, so we'll find them. And you can see the sheep are out to pasture. They know not to expect anything. There's chickens running down the hill. So we're gonna go let Miss June bug out. We might see somewhere is oh, hi guys. That was nice, June. You ready to go out, little girl? So we'll let Miss June out, and here's the other ones. And she figured out. You ready, ma'am? Sorry guys, trying to do this one-handed is not always easy. So she gets to go out. Here's our other trio, and sometimes they kind of still do their own thing a lot. So then I'll give them some treats. In here. What you doing? Everybody's waiting for me to have some. You guys already had all your treats today. Sometimes I bring carrots down. You already had all your treats. These girls are looking for some. So we'll throw a little bit down. And their third one, here she comes. Oh, she's getting too big to fit through the fence. Oh no! She'll figure it out. Here she comes. She's getting too big. Here you go, girls. And there's also Beaky. I call her Beaky because she's got a funny beak, and she's very old, and she beats her own drummer. So we give her some of her own. Sometimes she figures out they're there, and sometimes not. And now, everybody wants a treat. Hi, girls. You can see all the babies out. It's a beautiful day. Everybody's nice and comfortable with this cool weather. Of course, Alma wants to come and say hi. Hi, Alma Llama. Hi, Alma Llama. She's like, what do you have for me? All right, we're gonna go on the egg hunt. All right, so everybody's still eating their treats happily. This chicken thinks she's like, where are they? Where are they eating their treats? So we have a new egg laying spot. We'll see how they did today. This is the sheep, the inside sheep area, their covered area. Oh, and of course there's one today. We've been getting like so many in there. But it is coming on fall, so we may actually start to see a drop in eggs. Elsie's there to make sure I'm okay. All right, so Velma likes to eat. I don't know if you can spot her in there. She eats everything. She's like a doggy vacuum, truly. Okay. So pretty out. It actually is like warming in the sun compared to how cool it is outside. Okay, coop time. So I'm gonna try. I actually have to put the animals to bed tonight, so I'm gonna try to remember to come in and do a little footage. Oh, here we go. Isn't that nice that they decided to lay inside for me? A few of them anyway. So there's 4. We'll go to our next spot. Final spot. 2 today, not bad. So we did 2, 4, 7. Not too bad. All right, we're gonna go up and visit the next batch of animal. So we've been missing a chicken for about a week. And guess what I found? So I'm in my backyard. Whoa, we're getting fancy there. Underneath my porch. Found her. And she's all sorts of broody. So this is gonna be fun to get her out of there, because I'm pretty sure those are not fertilized eggs. But she's found. Okay, so here we are. Because this is what we decided. So Mama ended up with, I don't even know, I didn't even count. It was like 15 eggs under her. So I told her she could keep 3 that I thought potentially might be growing something. So here we are again. And this, just to be clear, is a different mama, because the other mama is still with her babies. So we are going to put this in here without getting bit. You can see I put a little water, and there's some watermelon in there, and that way she gets a little bit of fluid, and she gets, well, I mean, the watermelon has enough water anyway, probably to sustain her, and she didn't eat much kibble today, so that's okay. She's sustaining on some fruit, and she's like, can you leave me now? So we'll see. She has 3 eggs. 2 of them I felt like maybe I held a candle to them, which is kind of what you do, and maybe we'll see. I'll probably check them in another week or 2. Well, in about 2 weeks, I would guess they would hatch if they're viable. So we'll find out. Okay, guys, so it's nighttime, and we've got 2 birds I've got to put in, but I just wanted to show you kind of where everybody is at night. And I haven't really been down since Mitch. There's some of the babies. And this is the new situation that Mitch built here. They're new. And then they really are spread out everywhere in the barn. Every little nook and cranny. When it gets colder, look at that one. I don't know if you can see, but it's on a chain. Sleeping on the chain. Anyway, I'm gonna go round everybody up and let them go back to bed. Thanks for watching. Seriously though, can you believe that chicken? What a stinker. So she's chugging along, and I'm probably gonna check her eggs here in a couple more days. Not confident in my candling ability. You basically just hold the egg up in a dark space, put a light under it, and you can see, generally you can see somewhat inside the egg at the shadows and what's going on in there. So I'm hoping, I picked 3 eggs for her. 2 of them I was feeling sort of confident about. We'll see. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do if nothing comes of it. We'll decide then. It's not exactly the time of year to find chicks. I also don't need more chickens right now, but we'll see. So it's time for grass seed harvest update. When I pulled up, I was like, what the heck is that tractor? Because he's just driving around and it's open. You can see there's no, and it's also not the prettiest day. It's not the warmest day. So he's just open driving around, and I made fun of him a little bit. But the reason he's driving this one is because it's lightweight and we just had the rain, right? And so the soil's a little bit more smushy than it would normally be. So this keeps from digging in too much into the ground as they drive along. And you can, all right, so we've got the back of the drill. The drill. See, I've got my lingo pretty good. Seed gets poured into here from bags. And then it basically just drops out as they're driving along. In between those little, what are those called? Things. In between those things. The seed just drops as they're driving. So those are kind of digging into the ground. The seed drops. And that's it. Okay guys, this is it. We're in the home stretch. I brought Mitchell a coffee and now I'm going home. Thanks for watching. Okay. Planting. This is the home stretch, and we're going to take a little trip here soon in the next, well, definitely within the next month, to get away together and to just rejuvenate a little bit. So that's exciting. Okay, onward to what I'm working on. So I haven't been doing a lot of knitting, you guys. I don't know. I just want to make yarn all the time. So, the one thing I can show you, and my promise is that I'm going to have this done before our next, so my Horn Dorset cowl that I ripped out and then restarted is so good. So good. Sorry, there's a big string there. Oh no, yeah, there is a big string there. Let me show you this side. So, and you can see that I since have joined it in the round. I've got a few more inches. So basically, as soon as I'm done with this, it's done. And this really isn't that much because it's pretty bulky yarn. So in 2 weeks, this sucker's gonna be done. Maybe I'll be wearing it. You don't know with the weather here right now. So other things I have been working on are a lot of spinning. So one thing, and this may show up in the online shop because I'm spinning up more of it right now, but here's a skein that I just finished. And it's got all sorts of little poppies in it. And this is not my fiber. I got this at a festival. And I'm finally spinning it, and it spins up so well. I'm hoping to do a little video with me spinning it because one thing that I would love to talk about more is long draw, which I do a lot of, long draw hand spinning, and fiber prep is key. I mean, fiber prep is kind of key when you're a beginner. It's also key when you're doing long draw. There are times it's key, but when you are doing long draw, it is really important that you have fiber that's been prepped well and will spin well. So anyway, this fiber is just spinning like a dream. So I also hand spun this, which is a little bit left from anyway, I think I might spin more. I just love it. And there's more of this. It's so pretty. It's just got little flecks, and I kind of want to knit these together. I was gonna do a hat, but this, not a color I probably should wear very much. So I was thinking I might do this as the big, and then this is the top, to pull the yellow away from my head a little bit, away from my skin basically. But I am spinning up more of that, so it's probably one skein will end up online because you only need so much for a hat. But I'm having so much fun there. Okay, guys, I really went down a rabbit hole with the spinning because I was watching somebody on Instagram, as we do, and they were doing core spinning, hand spinning. So this is the first thing that I hand spun, and you can see, maybe if I open it up, you'll be able to see a little bit better. And I have one that is pretty dramatic, but it's uneven on purpose. This is very on purpose. And basically core spinning is there's a middle to this, and I'm spinning the fiber around it instead of like this. So there is like a yarn or whatever you put in the middle that you're literally spinning the fiber around. So I've been having and it's a great, I mean, making art yarn is like a dream. So here's something else. I was just practicing with basically with what I was using in the middle. I don't know if you can see that very well, but so this one I was using more of like a, what would you call it? It was kind of more of a ropey, here, hazening. It's like twine, kind of. and it's really thick. So that was a fun, different way to do it. And then the last thing I just did, and I just went crazy, and my wheel is not quite set up. You really need a wheel with a very big hole so that these big chunks can come through. But I kind of did it manually because I was having so much fun. But you can see all the big kind of waffles in there. Oh, it's so fun. And this one, I just used a mohair yarn. That was, and I used that as the core and started spinning around. So anyway, I kind of have gone down a rabbit hole. I might have to get a different wheel set up to do more art yarn, but I can also do it a lot thinner than this. I've just been having fun with it, and it's also a great way to use up extra roving. So that's what I've been doing there, and those are a little damp still, so I'm gonna, and I should say I weighted these because there is extra twist. For those of you that are hand spinners, you probably know what I'm talking about, and you can see there's extra twist. There is a lot more. See how that's just twisting? There was a lot more, and I can talk about that later if you guys want to. But so I did weight this. I never weight my yarn when I'm just doing hand spinning, but I did hang some hangers off the bottom of this just to kind of make it a little easier to work with. And I'm most likely going to use this in weaving because how fun would that be? Okay. So I've been doing all this hand spinning, and I went down a rabbit hole basically because one of the wheels I was using, I always used to ply, and then I was using it to spin in this instance. And this is the wheel I learned to spin on, but I haven't spun on it in a while. I've always plied on it. And when I went to spin on it, I was like, why does it look different? So I went down this rabbit hole of learning more about spinning wheels. So I'm gonna do a little clip here that I'm gonna run through the 3 different styles of spinning wheels and just very quickly touch on what the differences are. And if you guys want me to give more information on them, I most certainly can in other episodes, or do a mini-sode on each one, whatever. Feel free to comment, and maybe that's the giveaway. No, because that limits it just to spinners. Anyway, we'll talk about the giveaway in a minute. But so we're gonna go look at some wheels, and I will have you notice that you should be able to skip through. I kind of I added segment markers. So if you're just not a hand spinner and you don't care about this, you can just easily click through to the next segment of the vlog. So that's great, Dad. That might be time for you to forward. Anyway, let's go look at some wheels. Okay, so we're back at it. I've got my 3 wheels lined up here for you guys. And I wanted to mention before that a lot of the information I'm talking about, and I'm going to get in a little bit closer here, is from this book. And I will put it down in the show notes, but it is a big book. You know, it's very thick and it's very dense, but it has some great information. So if you're looking, okay, so let's start with the first wheel. So this is an Ashford Traditional. And I had to write notes to keep myself on track here. I'm just gonna briefly talk about the differences of these 3 types of wheels. So Ashford Traditional. This is one of the best starter wheels, I think, by the way, because it's very forgiving, and it's also very versatile. So you can make a lot of adjustments to it as a beginning spinner that you can't necessarily make as easily on other wheels. So you can see on this wheel that the yarn comes out, the orifice is right there. We've got the bobbin, we've got the flyer. So this is called a single drive wheel. And the reason that this is a single drive, it also can be called a Scotch tension wheel or a flyer led wheel. And the reason for that is it has got just this single drive band that attaches the flyer, which is this piece, to the wheel. So that's why it's just a single drive. And it's flyer led, meaning that when you start spinning, the flyer is actually what's turning, and it's pulling the bobbin along for the ride. So that is what that means there. The flyer is leading the way for the bobbin. And the Scotch tension refers to this little coil here, and you can adjust this to control the uptake of your wheel. So you can have it take in more or less depending on how much tension is there. So that is the Ashford Traditional. Like I said, I think it's a really amazing first wheel. Really, basically, this wheel is, but if you, in general, single drive wheels, or Scotch tension wheels, whatever you want to call them, are great beginning wheels. I have a Kiwi at home, an Ashford Kiwi, and it's the same idea, but it looks very different. So next wheel here is the, my goodness, I have to actually, Kromsky Minstrel, and I got this from somebody I know in Portland, and I spin on it quite a bit, and then I've got it here for classes when we do classes. But I wouldn't say this wheel is faster in general than some of the other wheels. So this may not be the best wheel. This is called a castle wheel, the style of it, meaning that everything is kind of up here in a castle form. That's kind of where it comes from. I'm not going to get too far into that, but let's veer in a little bit. So this is a double drive wheel. So let's veer in here a little bit. And by double drive, what they mean is you can see that there are two. One of them is coming to this whirl here. One of them is coming to the bobbin. So this bobbin actually has a groove in it where the band goes through. Then there's a whirl where the band goes through. And if you'll remember, and these are both attached to this wheel here. So when the wheel spins, guess what happens? They both spin because they're both attached. Now remember, on the single drive, there was just one band. The flyer turns and it in turn brings the bobbin along. So this is considered a double drive wheel. Of all the three types of wheels, which there are three types, this can produce the finest of yarns. And it also, in general, because of the setup, this type of a wheel, the double drive wheels, almost kind of force you to be consistent in your spinning. And the way you would adjust your uptake, basically, as far as, or how thick or thin you are spinning yarn, which is the same as the Scotch tension. It's the same idea, how you're going to get your yarn thicker or thinner, which is generally how fast the yarn is being pulled on. And we can talk about that in a different, it should not necessarily be how fast you spin your feet, which I've mentioned before. So on this wheel, you would adjust the whirls. So here's one whirl, and there's actually another whirl that is smaller that's just resting right here. So, and you can, in theory, also adjust bobbins. You know, if you have bigger or smaller whirls, you can go from here up to here, or you can go to that smaller, you can attach that smaller whirl instead of this. So, and this, a lot of double drive wheels. So at home, I also have an Ashford Elizabeth II. And if you look that up, or maybe I'll try to put a picture of it here, and I'll put a picture of my Kiwi too, so you can see that wheels look very different, even if they're the same style. So my Kiwi looks significantly different than this single drive. My Ashford II, my Elizabeth II, looks significantly different than this castle wheel, but it's still a double drive wheel. And on a lot of double drive wheels, you can basically make it a single drive Scotch tension, because you can see, here's this little, the same setup as what's over there. You would just have this only attached to the wheel from the whirl, and you would disregard this bobbin one, and then you would go to Scotch tension. Sorry, I don't think I was on this very well. So if I were to make this a single drive, I would basically put a band on that is only going from the whirl to the wheel. So the bobbin's no longer attached to the situation, just like over here. And then I would attach this over the bobbin. And then you can make it, you basically turned it into a Scotch tension. So it does have versatility there, which is lovely. Okay, third wheel, and this is the one I am the least familiar with. And this is one I think I talked about in a podcast. I ended up doing like a coffee shop parking lot not showdown, but I ended up getting a bunch of equipment from somebody who had passed away, and her family was looking for a place for it to go. So this wheel is a Ewethful S75, and they no longer make this wheel, but they still make Eweths, so you could find similar. And one thing I don't have with me is that this wheel actually does have, you can see there's some holes here. This has a swift that comes up off of it, and you can attach that. So you can actually take your yarn right off of your bobbin onto a swift. So anyway, cool thing about it. So this is a single drive bobbin led wheel. So our first one that was single drive was flyer led. Remember, this was flying. Over here, double drive. Here, single drive bobbin led. And it's just kind of as the name says, and I only just realized this as I went down this rabbit hole. So this is lead. The bobbin itself is attached to the wheel by the drive band. That's it. No whirl, nothing else, none of all that fancy stuff. So this is super simple, and it basically, when this turns, the wheel turns, the bobbin turns, the flyer is brought along for the journey. So on the first one, the bobbin was brought along on the journey. On this one, the flyer is brought along on the journey. So I have not spun a lot on this wheel. It needed to be cleaned up, and then it was kind of sitting. So now that I've got it up, and I realized, oh my gosh, I have all 3 style wheels, which I didn't realize I had. So anyway, I hope that helps at least explain the different type of wheels. If you were a super beginner or thinking about it, I would lean towards getting some type of a single drive flyer lead wheel. Almost every manufacturer's, I would guess, makes a similar wheel. So that's the thing. And they can all look different. So Ashford makes both styles. Louette makes both styles. I don't know. I haven't actually looked into that. But a lot of the wheel companies make both style wheels. So I think that's it, guys. I think that is my kind of, here's 3 different wheels, here's how they function. And if you guys want me to get into how they spin differently or how to control each wheel differently, that is something that I can definitely do. Just let me know, right? You know, down in the comments, or send me a message, email, whatever. So anyway, I hope that helps there. And I think we're going to move forward onto what's happening at the mill. What's going on back there? See you in a minute. Okay, I hope that helped. I hope that helped. So what's going on at the mill? Before I forget, giveaway. And how about if you just comment about what you're working on right now? You don't have to write everything unless you want to, feel free. But I'm sure, like lots of us, you're working on all different things. So hey, how about if we share with each other what project it is you're working on now, what the pattern is or whatever, knitting, crocheting, spinning, whatever you might be working on. Share it in the comment section. And here is this episode's giveaway. So this is what month is it? So this is September's Fiber Club. And if you remember, it was a Rommeldale Border Luster cross, I believe, fleece that I then blended with alpaca. So, as always, since I finished the last giveaway that I ended up hand spinning, if you win and you are not a hand spinner, I will hand spin it for you. You just can't expect it to come 3 days later. But I have been wanting to spin it, so it gives me an excuse. But if you are a hand spinner, then you get this beauty. And it's definitely next to Skin Soft. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I've heard from some Fiber Club people that said, yes, it's beautiful. So, and we do still have some spots left in our Fiber Club. It is filling up quickly. So there might be a point where I have to cut it off because it's a lot of fiber that I am processing, that I'm sourcing, which is part of it, and then that I'm processing out. So anyway, you can join our Fiber Club still, and there's also a Yarn Club, so feel free to join clubs if you so desire. There's some fun stuff coming. Okay, what's going on at the mill? So I've been doing the mini-sodes for you guys, Jacob, and Jacob. And I'm almost done with the Jacob. I actually am doing a dark batch of it right now. And then I'm gonna do some more roving and we're done processing. I'll have processed all of the Jacob wool, including a little bit that I had left from last year. So that is awesome. And I was really goaling to let's get all the Jacob processed, get all the Jacob yarn and roving out there, and then be done with it. So that's what's going on. And the yarn is slowly making its way. I'll probably show the finished yarn in the last mini-sode, which will come up next week, where we'll just be plying and skeening and getting it out the door. So I'll show kind of what I've been dyeing up and everything at that one too. But right now they are making their way up onto the website. So if you're curious, go take a look. And I did also start putting roving up. So here is some of the roving. And it's so pretty, and I just spun some of it. And I'm gonna have, hopefully I'll have a little bit of dark too, but this is kind of a medium gray, and it's gonna be all different kind of shades of gray blended together. It's so pretty. And really, you can't go wrong. Honestly, for beginning hand spinners, I think Jacob is one of the best wools that you can possibly spin as a beginner. And it's super versatile. It's not necessarily next to skin soft, but it is good for hats, for mittens, for outerwear. It's really good. And it's an easier wool to learn to spin on because it is a little bit coarser, it's a little bit more toothy, and it's just a lovely wool. So that's what's been going on. I think we're gonna go to the back and see the mill tour, and then I'll be back to say goodbye because it always seems weird that I don't say goodbye afterwards. So I'll be back for a quick goodbye and then we'll carry on. And at the end of this, so I do have a tour, and then I also follow up with a little video that is from me doing a roving bump on the carding machine, which I don't know. I might have showed you before, but nobody seems to get tired of it. I don't get tired of it, so I thought I did a little clip on that too. So anyway, without further ado, onward to go see what I've been working on at the mill, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Hi everyone, mill tour time. It's a little rainy out. I still have the door open behind me, but Wish is taking a nap. She just stares out the door longingly and then takes a nap. So anyway, I don't have a ton. We're still working on that Jacob, which I'll have the last mini-sode coming up soon. And I've kind of changed tactic a little bit. So I'll show you a quick what's going on. I'm going to flip so you can see I'm skeening. So the first batch I steamed, which I think you guys have seen, but I steamed it through here onto cones, and then you can see the cone remaining there. I skeen it. So I'm going to show you why I'm changing it up now. And you can see this is very old school because I'm basically having to do one at a time. So this machine used to have dowels that the last owners didn't like, I guess. And so Mitch has put in new holes, and basically the point is that you can put your bobbin there and then skeen right off of it. But as things happen, and now he'll watch this and be like, oh gosh, I was gonna do that. We literally just need the bars to stick in there, and we'll just use wood dowels probably. And then it can just skeen straight up. But for now, I'm doing it this way because that's how I can do it. And I'm going to show you why I'm doing it this way. So after this, I'm going to bathe. I'm going to soak the yarn. I'm going to bathe the yarn basically, but I'm also basically soaking the yarn. So over here are the skeins that I just pulled off from skeening that way. And you'll notice that they have a little curl to them. That's because they haven't been steamed or soaked or anything. So they're not quite balanced. So, and that's okay. What happens when you soak, just like when you block a finished item, we're gonna walk up to the front and the heater's on up here, but just like when you block something and it kind of settles in, the same thing happens when you soak or when you steam yarn. So let's take a peek, because this is what I looked at yesterday. See how different the skein to the left is as far as length? And we've talked about this before, but I thought, oh, it actually is changing what I'm doing here. So, and there's a pretty color that is coming out. Let me hang up this one so you can see that I just pulled. Now look at all the difference here. So we have this one that hasn't been soaked at all, and it's about the same length if it was balanced. The one on the left was dyed, so it was soaked to the extreme because it was also soaked and heated. And then the three to the right were steamed. So what that also means is that this has bloomed in comparison to this. It's bloomed more. So in an effort to keep the yarns kind of consistent for you guys, if you were like, I would like if you were knitting with this skein for it to knit up and look the same at the same time, rather than when you wash it, it blooms out. So that's basically why I'm now the rest. So these all, I'm just gonna dye. Since they've already been steamed, I'm not gonna go through washing them, I'll just dye those ones. The ones that I haven't steamed, that I'm skeening right now, I'm gonna wash, and those will be ready to go. A little more uniformity in the yarns then. And I thought I would just show you, because these are going up too, I think. So this is hand spun, and it's showing up a little more yellow. It's more mustardy than that. But it's hand spun, and it's very fun, and I can't remember for the life of me what's in it, but I bought it at a festival and have been obsessively spinning it, but I don't know that color would look great on me. So here's another hand spun, and this is like what I showed you guys last week for the giveaway winner that I hand spun, and I might have to spin more of that for myself. There is still some of this, but oh my gosh, it's so soft and it's so pretty. And this is the Columbia, Angora, and Silk Noil. So there is a little bit of that left on in the shop. So these, what the heck are these? These are mill ends. So this is literally me taking the ends of bobbins in the mill and plying them in together in a 3-ply, and that's what you get. So there's knots, there's wonky spots, there's just everything, all different sizes throughout the skeins, but I'm gonna put up some mill ends in the online shop, and it'll probably just be by weight, because I don't really want to make the extra work. The idea is that it's not extra work for me, so I'll probably just sell those by weight, like a pound at a time. Yeah, so that's the fun stuff that's going on here, and otherwise I'll walk back and we can it is such a little rainy day out. Fantastic for processing. Otherwise, I don't have a lot going on, but I can kind of show you what's going on back here real quick. So I'm still, there's Wish's crack for peeking out. Processing Jacob. We're kind of at the end. Oh, she's gone. She has been sleeping there, but I don't know where she's disappeared. Maybe she actually went. I am doing second round of the draw frame there. And I just realized that on one of my, I'll have to change it, on my post that I put pin drafting. That's so, usually I say draw frame, which is the more accurate way to say that. Anyway, we'll correct that. And so here's some stuff I've been washing. So this is like, it's a Corriedale cross, I believe, that I got from a shear. It was just in a huge little wool bag. And I just washed it up, and I'm going to do something fun with it. This is in an effort to, and it's a little more brown than it's coming out. Up here came from the same source, a shear, big bag of wool. This is Icelandic. It's really pretty. And I may very well just put this as a whole fleece washed for sale, but we'll see. We'll see what I decide, but you can see, I think there is probably 2 pounds of it washed, not huge, manageable if someone wanted to process that at home, and it's already washed. So, and then this is waiting over here in the dryer, and I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you it's clean. And I just need to get that other wool off the drying rack and do a quick vacuum so that those hairs, since those were more hairy, especially the Icelandic, I don't want any hairs to kind of contaminate into the white and the dark. I really don't want the dark. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. Just finishing up. I've got one more batch to run and of dark Jacob. So it'll be the next darkest shade after that. And then we'll be there. She is. She's come to say goodbye. So, on that note, we will say goodbye. Take care, everybody. Okay, now you know how I get that little bump that I showed you of the Jacob wool. I don't do it a lot. It just really depends. Some wools do not want to be stretched up that far. If they're a shorter staple length, they may not like to go onto bumps. Alpaca, it doesn't love to stick together as it is, so I generally don't put it into bumps. So it really, I don't use it as much as maybe I could, because it is a great way to store. Some people like it, some people don't, but it is easy traveling with a bump rather than a big bag or whatever. So anyway, I think that's it, you guys. I think I'm out of here. Thank you so much for joining me again, and I hope I've given you some more information and more ideas and a little bit of inspiration, and maybe some laughs. I don't know. Hopefully a smile along the way. So thank you guys so much. Everybody take care and be kind to your neighbor. Stay healthy and enjoy this fall weather. I'll see you guys soon.